I'm suing National Geographic. I'm done. I'm done having my intelligence insulted each and every second of the day. And they don't care. They don't give a single fuck in this world. And why is no one talking about this? Because I think this is a crime against humanity. I think the International Criminal Court should take this up. National Geographic has been lying to us for decades. They have. And I'm especially talking about the department on wild animals, where they give stories about wild animals. A while ago, I'm just watching some clips from National Geographic about a jaguar. And then this narrator with this animalistic voice of some sort, like a jungle voice or something like that, and some nice background music playing, comes and says, "This jaguar has lived in this jungle for 10 years." Something just clicks in my brain, and I'm like, what the hell? How stupid do you think I am? How do you know this jaguar has been here for the last 10 years? You just filmed it like 2 seconds ago. Literally. You have never seen this jaguar before, but you know that it has been in this forest for the last 10 years. Why? Why choose to describe the situation like that? Are you just looking for words to fill in the silence? Because there's a lot of silence in these documentaries. One sentence that takes 3 seconds and then 15 minutes of silence with some background music and all that. Are you just trying to fill in the time? And it's like, then I see the jaguar hunting. I don't know how they follow the jaguar. For some reason, they're able to follow the jaguar the whole day and night. I don't know how many cameras they have because they've got so many angles, including a POV angle of the jaguar, which I don't know how they got. Did they stick a camera onto the head of the jaguar, something like that? But that's a talk for another day about the camera angles and everything. So this jaguar has been hungry for the last 3 days. I'm like, you've been following this jaguar, stay hungry for 3 days, and you're not afraid it's going to convert you, the photographer, into its own dinner or lunch at some point. You're just following it. How much of a daredevil are you? Is this the kind of job that the government allows people to do? And then, if you're really human, if you see an animal has gone hungry for 3 days, the good thing to do is to give that animal some food, not to document it until the day it dies of hunger or anything like that. So I, I, I don't understand the lies. The lies have become too much. Then I see an orangutan. If you don't know what an orangutan is, it's a type of, I guess, ape, monkey, chimpanzee, it's a primate. That's as short and as long as it goes. And I see them like photograph it climbing a tree, but then it's an up down shot of the tree. It's like the camera is tied at the top of the tree facing downwards, and it's recording the orangutan climbing up. I'm like, how did they know this orangutan was going to climb this tree? That they specifically tied a camera at the top of that tree because that's where the orangutan was going to climb. Because some of these animals they film look like they are Hollywood actors just giving us a story. And I've seen another documentary like they were following a pride of lions, and they were telling us that this had been the leader of the pack for the last 7 years, and this newer, younger lion, male lion, is the one who has taken over leadership uh, from the last 2 months, and he's going to do that for the next few years. I'm like, how did you get a hold of that information? How? And then they follow an animal for like they will follow an animal since the time it's born until the time it dies. I'm like, how much time do you have at National Geographic headquarters? And the people you send, how many cameras do you send with them? How many photographers? How do you track an animal for that long? I'm done. I'm done. I think these videos are staged. I don't know how they convince the animals to act a certain way on camera, but they are pure lies. Everything is a pure lie. And then I see them photographing animals at night, and they're telling me it's moonlight. That's how it looks. I'm like, moonlight doesn't look that bright. That looks like a torch you're shining on the animal. And for some reason, the animal is heavily lit in total darkness, and it's not running away. It's looking into the light like it's trying to explore something. I'm like, that is not the natural reaction of an animal. This is scary. And then I see them showing me macro shots of ants. Then I'm like, what the hell? How did you get a macro shot of an ant in the middle of the night? And I don't know, where are you seated? Because there was one of the clips I saw where the lion passed so close to the camera. I'm like, there can't have been someone there. These must be cameras that are left in the forest to record when no one is watching like that. So I'm like, how are they able to capture all this? And they capture the ants in so many angles, and it's a macro shot. You know how close you need to be to an ant to take a macro shot of an ant? Like the camera needs to be so close, it needs to predict exactly when and where that ant is going to be walking at or standing at that time to be able to take such a good shot. Then I see some clips of hummingbirds uh, sucking nectar from flowers, and they're showing water droplets falling on them. So it's actually raining. I'm like, what cameras are you using that are not affected by rain? And how much battery power do these cameras have to be able to record? I saw another clip where they're recording plants growing. Like a plant came out, the way it comes out from the ground and then grows to a height of like 2 meters. I don't know how many months that takes, but it doesn't seem like it takes a few minutes or a few hours. And yet you can record that. I'm done with National Geographic. These videos are staged. I'm pretty sure they are staged. Yeah. And then they show something that I thought was mysterious. The jaguar was trying to hunt, and then it went into the water to hunt. I'm like, if a crocodile comes out, it's going to maul this jaguar because I assume a jaguar is not as great at hunting in water as it is on land. And amazingly, it takes a whole crocodile out of the water. The jaguar itself attacked the crocodile in the water and took it out of the water to go and finish the job. And sure, it did. And it bit on the neck of, of the crocodile. It went around it for a while until the crocodile slowed down and stopped resisting. And the feast began. I'm like, what the hell? Then the jaguar jumps again into the water and to face an anaconda. How the hell do you face an anaconda in a river, for heaven's sake? And somehow the jaguar comes out with the anaconda in its mouth. I'm like, what the hell? How do you get this footage? And these animals, as far as I know, if an animal sees a human being somewhere watching it with a camera or anything like that, it's not just going to continue in its business like nothing is happening. It's going to be aware and it's probably going to run away or attack the human being. But these photographers of National Geographic seems to be superhuman of some sort. Every animal seems very comfortable around them. They're just hunting, they're just living their lives. The antelopes are looking out for the lions coming, but this human being filming so close is apparently just something normal to them. No, I refuse to believe that this is real. I refuse. I know National Geographic started doing these things way before AI, but maybe they have been hiding some AI in the secret, which they have been using to generate these clips. These clips are just unbelievable. Clips of sharks and dolphins and all that, like close-ups. I have seen camera angles where a shark or a dolphin is flying above the photographer in the water. Like the photographer is deep down with the camera, and then he or she is facing the camera upwards, and then dolphins and sharks are passing above this person. I'm like, what the hell? This is just not true. It can't be true. The circumstances under which these incidents are supposed to happen are just not humanly possible. And these very specific stories. I was watching the orangutan. It was jumping from tree to tree, and the camera was tracking. Like it was moving from one tree to another. The orangutan was spaced, like it was placed in the dead center of the screen, which means someone was following up the orangutan as he was jumping from one tree to another, and he jumped to around 15 trees. That's a very long field of view for one camera to capture when it's left alone in the forest. I don't know whether they have orangutan detection software on the camera that is able to move, or camera that is able to be carried by a drone or something. I don't know who films these things. Then they say something about the orangutan that just made my mind explode. It's like this orangutan has a very complex map of this jungle in its head. I'm like, what the hell? How do you know what's in the orangutan's head? We as human beings barely know what is in the head of another human being. And I'm a human, I can infer that knowledge by just being human. And assuming my experiences are the same as yours, how the hell do you know what an orangutan is thinking? This orangutan will take no other prey other than this one. How do you know it will not take any other prey? You just found it chasing that one. Maybe if a gazelle came out of there, it would be running after the gazelle. Or maybe if a rabbit went rogue from home and into the forest or a hare, it would be running after that. How do you know this is the only animal it's going to take for this day? And the structures are scary. Because they give us this structure, it's like the lion, the king of the jungle. It's like every animal knows the lion is the king of the jungle. How do you know these animals think the lion is the king of the jungle? How do you? Why don't you think they think the tiger or the elephant or the buffalo is the king of the jungle? Why? Why would you think that this National Geographic has been humanizing animals for the longest time? Talking about animals like they are an ancient civilization. It's not like they're not talking about animals in the sense that when you look at this is not human. They're looking at animals like those human beings that lived like a million years ago. Human. Like that's how human used to believe. I guess evolution is real based on that sense. But I find it very wrong, very confusing. And a very innocent person might start spreading these lies as if they are they are facts. I know there are some things that have been investigated. Maybe you can say this animal takes 11 months to get pregnant. I know some animals have been raised in captivity, and therefore some things like lifespans, the amount of daily food intake they have, the gestation period, and all such kind of stuff have been investigated with animals in captivity. But you can't assume that an animal in captivity thinks the same way or operates the same way with an animal that has lived in the wild for its entire life. Those are two completely different species. And you can't really follow an animal for that long. But but this National Geographic, they seem to have mastered the animal mind. These commentators who commentate on these things, they talk about these things like they know, but I think I'm more intelligent than that. I might be dumb. I'm not refuting that. I'm probably 1% smart, but the 1%, the one brain cell in my head knows that this is just not true. The stories they're giving us about these animals are just fabrications. Nothing better than well crafted lies that look like truth. And these people are geniuses, I'm going to say, because it's very hard to correct them. Because if you started giving stories, you also just speculating. When it comes to the mind of an animal, some people say dogs love people, cats hate people. You've never gotten into the mind of that animal to know exactly what it's thinking. But such things are taken as truth. They're just opinions. In my opinion, mine is also an opinion. I would say. But so I'm hungry and I'm planning to sue National Geographic. I I think this is heavy enough that it should be taken by the International Criminal Court. I'm suing for trillions and trillions of dollars. I tell you, and I'm going to get rich because uh, people need to know the truth. People need to hear the truth, and the truth must be delivered. We need to get rid of National Geographic, or we need to force them to tell the truth. A disclaimer before every video. Note, the opinions expressed in this documentary are our own and our own only. No animals were interviewed for this session, and we don't know exactly what happens in here. This information is for entertainment purposes only. Use it at your own discretion. Yeah, I want such a disclaimer somewhere in the beginning so that I know this is fiction. Because people enjoy reading fiction, not because it's true, but there is some interesting aspect of it. But when I look at these things, they are presented as facts and scientific facts. Like they have performed experiments on these animals to know all that they do and how they think. They don't know anything. The things they know are not interesting. It's not things that will make anyone watch the documentary. The things that make people watch these documentaries are the lies that they tell. The lies that look so true, you might brush the, by you might pass by them thinking they are the truth. So I want you to join me. Join me in saying no to these documentaries of animals, suing these people until they learn the lesson to tell us the truth. Because we need the truth and we want the truth. and will stand for nothing less than the truth. Thanks for watching.